Okay, hi everybody. Nice to see you again. So today is our Devblog. So we'll look through the features that were done internally and bug fixes, and we have a lot of them. And if you have any questions, I'll answer them. And this will be it for today's stream. So let's start. Oh, sorry. Let me start the stream. Okay, so let's start. I think today it won't take long. So UI interface. So we plan a new feature, and that is binding video files. So you can see this will be the dialog. So you can choose the file, and it basically internally it automatically composes this file into a sequence of images to a default folder, creates a plane, adds the video to the plane, and it sets the correct size for the plane. So this will be in the next version. Next, we have this new feature that I already showed in previous devlogs, where you can change the position of the layout, and now it has nice UI when you customize the layout, so you can see where the new position will be. Okay, this is just a bug, and it was an internal bug. Maybe I can. And this bug was present in the early access. It is the bug that the arrow looks broken, and now it is fixed and looks nice. Okay, so this was another. I think it was an in-between bug. I'm not, but maybe it is present in the early access. So there were crashes whenever you tied. If you tried to unbind texture 2 times, there was a crash. There was another bug with the angular momentum. It did not visualize correctly, and so okay, that's all for the UI. And now the rigging part starts. So we have this bug with length of the fixed controllers, and it is now fixed. When you enter rig mode and go back, and yeah, when you fix the position of the controllers, there was a bug that they jumped back. Now there's no bug. They remain in the same position. Okay. So that's also a new feature, additional constraints. So the idea here is that you can constrain if you have like a line of points, additional points, and additional points are this point sticking forward. So if you have 3 of them in a line, sometimes you have 4 of them. I think in our dinosaur rig, it's sometimes you don't want to control the ones that are in between. You just want them to like be somewhere on average between the chest and the pelvis additional points in this case. And so this is a new constraint. You can add it, and it will position this point according to the to the chest and the pelvis. So it is done right now as a constraint. I think at some point we'll integrate constraints into the rig system, but for now it's much easier and faster to create such constraints. Okay, so this is a new feature for the node editor. You can now collapse attributes. And this way it's easier to view what is connected, what depends on what. Although I'd say that what we're lacking right now in this one is the ability to collapse all attributes at once. I think this should be added for sure. Okay. My shortcuts stopped working. Okay. So now this is actually a nice feature for anybody who uses scripts and wants to create their own scripts. And now you can create these dialogues that have many input fields. Before we didn't have that. You had to just make one field, one button, and ask several times. And now some people are writing scripts, and I'm very happy about that. So they can look forward to it. And I look forward, as somebody who writes scripts a lot, I look forward to it a lot too. We added manipulator locker for inner product objects because there was once a report where people tried to rotate them and that didn't change anything, so we decided that we will add this locker so you can't rotate it with the rotate manipulator at least. Okay. So also we plan to create a rig helper dialog windows which like guide you through creating the characters and creating rigs for the character, and they only have to work when the scene is empty. So this is what we did, and this is how they will look like. So it's just a set of dialogues in case you you don't want to go to the documentation, see the tutorials, you just want to throw a scene, rig it really fast, and then use it with autopausing. Okay, we also changed the default length for the direction controllers. Fixed quick rigging tool templates for twists. We didn't have them before, I think. Now they import and export correctly. There's also a bug with a new feature of weapon and quick rigging tool. Okay, some crash fixes that I think we can safely skip, and some bugs with importing product objects. Okay, this one might be more interesting. So we added some colors for joints, meshes, and boxes. I think it was possible to set a color by hand using the node editor, etc. I haven't showed it on one of the streams, but that was of course a way, like a very hard way to customize the colors. And so now we have this by default this color in the property editor. Unfortunately not a palette for now, but at least you can set it. And you also have this boolean value if the object should use color or not, so it's easy to change it for a lot of objects and to make them use color or use the default color that is in the settings. So this is added for joint. Okay, it's the same basically for meshes. So there were some improvements in the root constraints. Now they can track the rotation of the pelvis. Okay. So you can set follow rotation. And now if you have some animation, oh yeah, and by the way, okay, I'm wrong. You can set follow rotation, but that feature I think was already there, although you can't then change the rotation of the armature of the root, but that is another bug that was fixed before. And here we have a special script that offsets the character to the starting position and the T-pose rotation. I think it was written for one of the users in Discord and then added to the main to the comments, to the standard comments net. And so this was fixed and now or improved and added to the standard comments set. So you have an animation and then you can press the button and it will reposition this part of animation. So it starts with the T-pose rotation for the pelvis and then moves along as it did in the original animation. Okay, this is actually this was reported. To be honest, it was reported internally, but it was also reported on stream that the locator will be a standard 3D node, so you can child it to other locators, to joints, etc. So now this was implemented, and in the next version, the locator will be a standard 3D node that you can child. Okay, we added a meta-human template for quick rigging tool. Looks a bit strange, but I think it's okay. Okay, some other things that were fixed and added. They are mostly internal, but we do have. There are some that were reported also in Discord, especially Control Z in node editor, and okay, I think other stuff is not that important. So I think I already announced it on one of the previous streams that we changed how relative to pivot copy paste works. Before you had to set the correct global or local pivot mode when you copy. Now you don't have to. It copies both datas along the global and along the local pivot, and then when you paste, you can select which one you want to paste. And so this is a fast demonstration that now it changes, like the data you insert changes when you paste it. Okay, now this is we hope this will make it possible to work mostly in auto-posing mode if you prefer to use it. And what it does is when you select the auto-posing points, now you will see this physics tabs with physics data, and you can change them, and it will actually change the data that is in the points. So this will be pretty convenient, I think. Okay, I think here in this part of the video it's much faster. So let me Okay. So in the end of the interval, before empty frames were created, and now fixed interpolation is created. Also, we changed Ctrl+T. It has now a setting whether you should call physics for the stretched frames or not, because sometimes if you have if you made the character like stretched how physics wouldn't allow it to stretch, so you have basically red edges for part of the character, then when you use when you stretch the animation, it will kind of it will call physics, and in the key the position will be the same, but in the new fixed frames that are between the keys, it will have like the physics will bring the character back, and this will look like a bug, like a break in the trajectory. So what we do now is you have an option to turn physics off, and then it won't call physics, and so it won't the interpolation will be more smooth, and when you're playing the animation, it always doesn't call physics. So when you stretch with Ctrl+T, there are options, but when you play the animation and it uses stretch frames actually for it, it will just not call physics always, because we always want the result to be as smooth as possible whenever we play the animation with some time factor. Yeah, stretch frames is used when you play the animation with this time factor in the FPS frames per second tab instance settings. Okay, so now there was a bug that when you assigned to some high-level selection groups, they overrided other selection groups, so this bug was fixed. And that's a small teaser about mobile cascader. So we added a controller for the upper body, and we fixed its behavior. I think it's pretty long. Fixed some crashes. And this was actually a big one. We added auto physics to the mobile cascader, and adding new libraries there is not easy. But now it's working, and this is one of the core features we wanted to add before trying to move further with Cascader Mobile. Okay, and now by default in Cascader Mobile we will have clean Bezier interpolation instead of standard Bezier interpolation. And there were also some problems with the controller shaking when you were actually not moving anything, so these were fixed. Okay, and I think that's basically it for the Devblog. So it's pretty fast today. So maybe someone has any questions? Maybe there were some questions in the chat. Okay, let me open it. So the question is, yeah, thank you for saying Cascador is an awesome program. The question is, Cascador the only program based on physics? Is there another, maybe, are there any analogies? So, I think the concept of using physics to create like controllable animation, like the ballistics, etc. I don't think there are like good analogies for that right now. The closest was it's the same company that made Euphoria. Okay. I'm afraid I'll. Okay, I don't remember. Damn, I can't remember right now the name. But before Euphoria, they made another program. I think that was the closest to Cascador, but it still had like a different idea. So overall, physics is used in animation a lot, but mostly for like simulating, I don't know, building destruction, cloth simulation, secondary motion simulation. For example, how the hair moves, how the dress moves. So the clothes. So it's used a lot for that, but it almost never is used for like how the character jumps, etc. At least I don't know examples or analogies. So it's a pretty unique approach. I think sometimes in Maya you can create like a ballistic trajectory. It's a pretty simple thing to create. So I think sometimes ballistics may be used, but a more, for example, it's just like a tool that creates basically something like this. Okay. So like a system that is connected and works like this, I think that might be created sometimes in other 3D software, maybe Blender or Maya. At least maybe not so complicated, but something close. But something like our autophysics, I think that is not used much. I've seen that more in runtime to simulate to simulate falls, for example. Sometimes there people do use physics, a lot of times actually, and there are sometimes really complicated algorithms. How do you like blend between the animation and the physics simulation? But to do it on the stage when you're creating animation, I think that's pretty unique to us. But maybe maybe something new emerged, or maybe I don't know something. Okay, maybe there are some other questions. Yeah, sure. Actually, we planned the next version to be an early access version, like something like a pre-release early access version, and yeah, all those features will be included in it. so that yes, we plan a pre-release version and then the version with the official release. But that doesn't mean, of course, that we'll like stop after the official release. We'll develop it further. It's just that we feel that, yeah, it's pretty much the time we can say that we can have an official release. Like we've added scripting. Of course, not everything is ideal, but it's close to what we wanted to present. The final, it's not the release, but like after. We actually don't plan to add a lot of stuff between the pre-release and release versions. We want to polish. We want to create new tutorial and demo videos. Maybe polish some UI, UX. Polish some bugs, etc. And I don't think a lot of new features. We don't plan any like big new features between the next version and the release version. Mainly fixes and stability issues. It's a tricky question because I don't think you can be satisfied with any program. As somebody who had my PC shut down on the last stream with high probability due to it, I don't know, having a bug in the battery driver. I don't know. It's hard to say that we'll be satisfied. By that I mean that there will be a lot of things we would want to add, but I would say that but at the point of the release, we want like the minimal stuff that we wanted will be more or less ready. And basically it's auto pausing that is, I think, pretty stable already now in the early access version, and a more stable auto physics version with a bit more features. So what we didn't have now is the compensation feature. We wanted to add that to the auto physics because it was very necessary for the main pipeline that we want to propose. And yes, after that, we'll be satisfied enough to, in the sense that, okay, we have the minimal functionality what we want to present. Well, yeah. Centrifuge. Yeah, to be honest, I can't about new tools in general. For sure, ones that come to mind are actually not that complicated stuff like picker tool, animation library, pose library tool. So there are a lot of different stuff. It would be nice to add skin and blend shapes and face control rig, but that is more like expanding the animation side of the program. The centrifuge, is it like a physics thing or? And but what would you want with it? So. Okay, okay, I see. Yeah, I I do have to. We do look at it from a bit different perspective in Cascador, probably. So, because what our autophysics tool does is that it looks at the animation the animator created, and it like corrects it to make it a physically accurate animation. And the problem that we like, the limitation that we have right now is that it basically supports only a collision with the Earth, like with the flat Earth, and yeah, and that's because when like it's much easier to solve equations. There are some like there's some special stuff you can special math for that kind of interaction. And so what we don't do is we don't support right now any fulcrum points that are basically not connected to the ground, and that like limits the possibility. I also want to say that we actually did have that, but it wasn't working like really good, so we kind of dumped that, and it didn't. It was hard to integrate it into the current autophysics tool that works with the ground exclusively. But I think yeah, we will add it. It's actually not that for when a character is hanging somewhere, like holding one hand or two hands, it's not that hard. We partially even solved it in the old versions, so there's like a gradation in that on that side. But yeah, definitely we plan to add it in the future. Also about physics tool, we would like to add like interactions. Other than that, we would like to so it's in like an interaction of a character with like a something that is constant, like a bar, and after that we would like to add like interaction between two characters. So when they connect with each other, then you have something like a fulcrum point where you can apply the force, but it's different in the sense that like the force you apply from one character, like you will have the opposite force for the other character. So yeah, like priority. Well, no, not. We will just like. So basically, it's like the status of the program that will be changed. Like the release is more like a status of the program that like we're kind of happy. We have the minimal functionality now, and we can like say that okay, this starting from here it's a release version, but not that much will change. I mean, maybe your question implies that whether or not the licenses for the early access will they be supported. Yeah. Okay. I see. Yeah. I think. Well. at least we'll have the same system that we have right now. So like once in 3-4 months we will have a new like version after the release. It's not like we will make one version in a year, but we do want to change the approach. And yeah, right now we kind of test it. Like we have internal versions. We have like some release of early access, or before that it was open beta test version, and then sometimes after some like 3-4 months we have the new version and we kind of test it, polish it, etc. But it's pretty like linear, so you just have these versions. I think what we will do in the future is we do have plans for now. I can't like say for sure, but we do have plans that somewhere after the release we will change the approach, and we will kind of release everything we have in between, like every 2 weeks, for example. As like we have a review once in 2 weeks, so we might as well just release every 2 weeks what we have. It won't be as tested as this like major versions, but anybody who wants to try new stuff, etc., can try it. And maybe if somebody's, I don't know, doing some scripting and wants some additional stuff in the API, we will be able to add it faster, because like it's not used, people are not using scripts as much right now, although already I see that some people are asking about them in Discord, and I think we were successful in doing some scripts, but for example, there can be something like we don't have something in the API. It's basically like one line of code to add it, but you have to wait for like 2 or 3 months until we add it. It will be strange. It will be much more convenient if like we have a new beta version, alpha version, like every 2 weeks. So yeah, I think we will change it. I don't know, right after the release or like in a couple of months, but we do have plans to change it. Yeah, it's a very high probability, but I don't know when we started. We plan right now like end of summer, end of autumn, maybe early September. Dates do tend to shift as we start to test more and find some bugs and start to fix them, etc. But I think that's the approximate timing. But it's not fixed enough to announce it, so I've announced it only privately here on the stream. Is it about this? Oh, copy time. I see. Yeah. Yeah, it probably doesn't. Yeah, it probably doesn't. I think this functionality, it was added before we had the folders. Probably, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't. Okay, okay, I see. Okay, that's it. Okay, okay, I see. Yeah, it probably should like apply it to the whole folder or per track. Okay, okay. Maybe we'll fix it. Although, to be honest, does not like. Hope it's not that critical because. But okay, I see. It's true. Yeah, sure. But we'll add a task. We'll fix it eventually. Doesn't it work if I select the same one? Maybe. No, it doesn't. Okay, okay, I see. Yeah, it probably just knows how to work with an individual track. Okay, thanks for the report. Okay, thank you for participating. So yeah, I think. Oh, okay. What about the bug related to control rotation, where when you rotate the point over a value, it completely screw up the angle? So, to be honest, I'm not sure I remember the concrete problem. Okay, control rotation, what it does is and control translation, it rotates, I think, like 10 times slower. Maybe the question is about the fact that when you rotate, like, when you rotate further than some angle, it jumps over, like, to the other side, because we're basically applying the global rotation always, and like we don't have like a local rotation manipulator mode where you change the local rotation. And yeah, a lot of programs do have it, so like it's not planned for the release, or but like long term we have it in the plans. It is not that much of a problem for our points, as they use some other type of data, not rotation, but other type of data. And also it is not like a big problem if you don't want to create like some lengthy rotations, so you want to rotate it like 720 degrees. If you don't want that, then it's working like okay, because it looks at the previous value and aligns it so the angles will be like aligned and will behave well in the interpolation. Okay. I don't know if I answered the question, but ping if I didn't. Okay, another question. I haven't tried quadrupeds yet, but I saw a video that autopausing doesn't work for it. Do you have any plans to add this in the future? Yeah, we actually even did some tests for quadrupeds, and they were relatively successful. The problem with quadrupeds is that we don't have so many animations, at least for like our quadruped character. We don't have so many animations for it, but it still worked relatively good. But we didn't move further than the test stage where we like did everything in Python. We didn't insert it in the build because that's a lot of work, and we're prioritizing right now like polishing the auto posing for humanoid characters. But in the plans, we do have. Okay, my personal wish would be that we do it for our dinosaur model. I would love to animate dinosaurs. Okay. So, Ilya, are there some other questions? Okay. Okay, then I think we can finish with this. A small announcement that we will skip the stream next week, as I won't be available. And also we wanted to ask you to write any ideas, because basically we have the Devblog. We also have an option when Nathaniel has questions to like stream how I answer them, like different topics and technical details. But other than that, it's a bit hard for me to understand what are like the best topics. Should I go on with the tools, or maybe I should go back to scripting, as I see now that some people are scripting. Maybe I can try to make like a stream with a nice example where I script something or do something in node editor, create a constraint or something else. So if you have like ideas or maybe questions that need like that are hard to answer in text, and that would be nicer to have a conversation about them and answer them on stream, please write in our chat for streams. We have a separate chat for streams in the Discord server. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the ideas that might occur. So yeah, and I think that's basically it. Yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you for the question.